How is that possible? That McLaren needs to get nerfed or something. Welcome guys to another F1 22 driver career mode video, and sadly this video is gonna be a post-edit voiceover. You guys are seeing what I recorded because I recorded a session, forgot that my mic was muted after a stream, and yeah, none of the audio got recorded from my voiceover or my commentary. So yeah, we'll just have to make do with what we got. Aerodynamics department coming at us with an event there, just easily dealing with it, and then yeah, noticing we're in a big streak. Podium finishes all around until Miami, where we struggled a bit, P3 by the end of the session, with McLaren really coming through. And I think we're taking new components today for the engine, so we'll see how much that will help. Alright, time for qualifying as always, and yeah, I mentioned that we're going to take engine penalties, or not really penalties, we're taking a whole new engine component because the engine's worn. It's on 40% wear for most of the components, so I think that's going to be our practice gearbox and practice engine. We're moving on to a fresh set for this race around Spain. Of course, Spain is a difficult circuit for the player relative to the AI, so yeah, we'll try our best here, but my practice session had some good laps, felt very solid up to P9 I believe with the medium tire, while everyone else ran the soft. So we are quite competitive to be up there on the mediums. Lewis Hamilton I believe taking the hards, so he's been doing pretty well as well. Now the thing is that we need to find a good qualifying position so that we can really push on the McLaren duo of Lando Norris and Alonso, because they're pretty fast around here. So let's see if we can find an answer to their speediness and the pace of their car. So here we go, just behind Alonso as he finished his lap earlier during my out lap, but making the nice chicane, getting down on the power with ease so that we don't spin the car, coming across the line for a 117.167, which is not too bad on our first banker run. But of course we're going to cool down the car, cool down the tires, and go for another lap here, which is a bit equal on pace. So we'll try and finish this lap. It's not going to improve our time too much, but it'll still be valuable, a couple seconds here, or milliseconds, up to P3. So by the end of the session, dropping down to P7, of course, we only did those two laps and just called it a day. Lewis Hamilton up in P2, which is good. Joe Latifi, Ricardo Schumacher, and I believe, I don't know who else that was. Latifi, I believe, is out. So yeah, that's Q2 done for us, or Q1 done for us, and into Q2. First banker lap of Q2, of course, here 117.475, a little slower I think than our previous time. Of course, use softs on that run. Now on fresh softs, let's take a look and see how fast we can get across the line here. At the end of the session, we score a P6. Beautiful drive from us to get through to Q3. Quite happy with that. And Q2 was good for both of us. Both cars through. Norris, Albon, Stroll, Magnussen, and Tsunoda get knocked out. So it's the final session here. Need a good lap here to get a decent position to fight the McLarens, of course, our main rivals. The Red Bulls are also up there as one of the pacey cars on track. I think we're third best in performance, so we need to try and get up there. On U-Softs, did a decent lap, about P6, P7, but what matters most is the final lap here as we cross the line for a 2/10 improved lap, and that sits us P5 for the start of the race. Unlucky that we're not higher on the grid, but the Red Bulls and one McLaren are ahead, so we'll have to see if we can fight them on race day.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down into Turn 1. This is a 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through the 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out Turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of Turn 9. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Athena and Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, Ticktum and Yuki Tsunoda, Magnussen, Stroll, Alex Albon and Norris, Gasly, Ocon, they've taken a grid penalty, Mick Schumacher and Daniel Ricciardo, Latifi and Guan Yu Zhou. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Now I'd like to discuss Guan Yu Zhou. They've had to change their gearbox, of course, but it's never a good start to a Grand Prix when right off the bat you have to contend with a grid penalty.
Well, at the end of the day, it's always better to take some pain now than parking up halfway through the Grand Prix. Let's hope they can put that new gearbox to good use and get the results they're looking for.
Alright, now we are jumping into the race itself. Let's see. Medium to hard strategy is requested or recommended to us, and we try to mess around with a two-stopper just to see if we can get a little faster, but no, the estimations don't look good for us. About 18 thousandths faster by pitting a little later, but of course we know that heating up the hard tires are difficult, extremely difficult, especially when the AI does not have the same tire heating problems as we do after a pit stop. So we opt to start on the hards, and that's why I opt for the hard to medium strat a lot, because we can heat up the hard tires easily in the formation lap, but we can't really heat them up immediately out of the pits when we leave the pits after a pit stop. So as you can see, 83, 81 degrees, which is optimal operating window for the front tires, and then 86 degrees or so, 88 degrees in the rears, which is very, very, very warm for a good start. So that is why we start on the hards, and here we go then. 2 Red Bulls ahead of us. Perez also on the hards, by the way, so it's going to be a tight race between us. 5 red lights, and we're underway for the Spanish Grand Prix. 33 laps around this iconic circuit, the Barcelona Catalunya circuit, and it is time to try and get positions. We get Perez off the get-go here, going around the outside. Leclerc and Verstappen on a bit of a tangle there, colliding as they enter the turn 1 chicane. Leclerc having wing damage by the looks of it. Verstappen is slow as well. I wonder if he has damage. Perez giving us a lub tap as he tries to make the turn there, and we try to sneak it around the outside of Verstappen, but sadly we cannot make the move stick. Taking it easy here, locking up as we go into this turn, and we keep going here as we make our way closer to Verstappen. We get Perez for certain. This turn here is the worst with a slippery track, so hopefully we can keep our car out of the gravel on the edges there. But making our way down closer to Verstappen, using our ERS the best we can to try and get close to Verstappen. Very close to colliding and losing our wing there, but we make a safe turn around the sector 3 turns we go, and we are trying to catch up to Verstappen and Leclerc. Leclerc, who is really dragging everyone behind, and it seems like Alonso, who was in P1, is running away with it. Absolutely sprinting on those soft tires that he started on. Alonso setting a 120.8 as the fastest lap in lap 1. Leclerc in the pits after that collision with Verstappen. Verstappen slow on the straights, and we easily overtake him to get P2. 5-second gap. 5.1 second gap to Fernando Alonso. How is that possible? That McLaren needs to get nerfed or something. Not sure what the McLaren team did to their car, because unbelievable what they did to it. That pace is really lightning speed. Maybe, I don't know, Back to the Future happened to them. But yeah, let's listen in on
Alonso's ahead of
Alonso.
you. Okay, gap ahead is 5.6 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are just 1 lap old. We think they've got 1 more stop. And the time last lap was at 1:20.8.
So 120.8 fastest lap, we saw that earlier, but he's on a 1 stop, meaning that he's probably going to move on from the softs to the hards to see out the rest of the race. So yeah, that's not looking good for us. We need to catch up to him the best we can. We are going to get the overcut, which will be a little better. Plus, we're going to move on to the mediums, which is a lot easier to heat up than the hards. So yeah, we'll see if we can quickly bring those tires up to temp and push on Alonso. Making the final couple turns here in Sector 3, turning into the final corner to head into the start-finish straight. 1:18.5, I believe, was what Alonso set. Unbelievable. Just went 2 seconds faster that lap. And we were on a busy chase here, but Pierre Gasly out of the session. That AlphaTauri has had problems here. Let's take a look. Turn 1, and ooh, the Alfa Romeo, who was exiting the pit lane, collides with Gasly, who was trying to make that turn. And yeah, the lost wing means the AI will retire in the next corner. So Gasly sets a yellow flag in, but not much happened. So our teammate is in. What is happening here? What did our teammate do? It seems like it's a wing damage situation, as we see a Ferrari also come in. The Ferrari of Carlos Sainz has collided with Lewis Hamilton by the looks of it, and he gets a new wing and new tires. Hard tires on for our teammate. Same with Carlos Sainz, who gets a new wing as well. So the two cars have collided and they are back of the grid. What is my teammate doing? I don't know. He's been letting us down at Mercedes, and it's a bit of a struggle for him. Lewis Hamilton, I guess, is on the brink of retirement with his poor driving. The pit crew telling me, or pit wall team telling me, a new strategy, a lap 16 pit for mediums is what they recommend. So I guess there is a bit of wiggle room here for our pit strategy. The overcut may be helpful here, as we see Alonso pit in lap 10 or into lap 11. For the hards, his softs must have died off, but he was about 15 seconds ahead of us. Unbelievable gap pulled on those softs. So yeah, I don't think we've got anything to battle Alonso here. Alonso is too OP. We do overtake him for the lead of the Grand Prix for a moment, but Alonso is going to slot out in P4. Wow, those hards are on, and he's in P4, meaning he's surely going to catch us up. Only 5-second gap as he exits the pits. Now, Latifi is out on lap 13. Engine failure for the Williams driver. Makes his way around and retires in a relative safe spot, so I don't expect a safety car to be released. So we will progress on with time and keep going. Lap 14, entering lap 15. We attempt the fastest lap attempt. No, we fail. Verstappen is in though. Verstappen is in. Never mind, that was not a fast lap attempt. I've kind of fumbled the commentary there, but yep, it is time to go in. Our tires are fading away. So yeah, Verstappen got the undercut on us by about 2 laps. As you can see, as we enter the pit lane, we kind of skid. The tires are gone. They're dusted. They're absolutely gone. So we pit in. Optimal turn-in as well. Of course, we don't miss on those purple turn-ins or purple starts. And the mediums are on in 2.4 seconds. Great stop from the pit crew. And let's see if we can heat those tires up. It seems like Leclerc's going to get past. Never mind. Leclerc's also pitting this lap on the mediums to hards. He goes. He went a little over schedule, over pit strat, I think. So we'll see if he gains an advantage on everyone else. But yeah, we are out in P2, solidly in P2. Ticked him behind us by about 9-8 seconds. So yeah, we'll try and extend, but Alonso is gone. He's gone with the win, guys. 17 seconds ahead, 18 seconds ahead, which is unbelievable how quick he was today. Not sure what we can do. Fastest lap, there we go. That's the one I was looking for. 1:18.4, I believe, was the time we set, but then it gets immediately destroyed by Lando Norris with a 1:18.0. Yikes, that McLaren is fast. And then he beats our time yet again with a 1:17.8. What is that McLaren on? It's on steroids or something, because he is super fast. And yeah, we couldn't find an answer to Alonso. We just continued our drive. Lap 27, standard timing here. Lap 28, you can see gap is slowly growing to Alonso, but also the gap to Ticktum, who's in P3, by the way. What a drive from the youngster. But the gap between us and Ticktum is growing as well. But Sergio Perez is out. Sergio Perez is out. Is he going to trigger a safety car late in the race? Of course not, because F122 dislikes safety cars being released in the final 30 seconds, or 3 laps, sorry, not seconds. Final 3 laps of the race. It's insufficient time. So yeah, no safety car. And we have to see out the race. There we go. Alonso wins the race with a 23-25 second gap to Heidi Lieberman. Unbelievable how fast that McLaren was. And Ticktum is another 11 seconds behind. I'm not sure what's going on with the game here. Usually it's a lot closer between us, but I guess the McLaren is just that much more speedy.
Right then, a spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium.
Well, there you have it, P2 for us, which is good. Another podium finish for Heidi Lieberman. Alonso Lieberman ticked him on the podium, as we see. Tsunoda, Verstappen, Ocon, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Albon, Leclerc, Stroll, Norris, Zhou, Magnussen, up until Leclerc is the points finishers. Stroll, Norris, Zhou, Magnussen, Sainz, Russell, and Schumacher round out the finishers with Perez and Latifi, and Gasly not finishing the race. They all crashed out or had engine problems. Still in the lead, 144 points. There's about a 50-point gap to Lando Norris behind us, and then Perez in P3 with 84 points. Lewis Hamilton still struggling a bit, P7 for him in the driver's standings. Mercedes still in the lead in the constructors, mainly because Heidi Lieberman was too OP and is driving too well. McLaren though catching 22-point gap behind Mercedes, so it is a worry that McLaren may put Mercedes under pressure soon. If Lewis Hamilton doesn't perform in the next couple races, it may be a little bit of a difficult feat for Mercedes to keep that P1 spot. But yeah, really not sure what we can do against the McLaren drivers. We need those upgrades to come through quick, and we need the team to invest. So we'll see how this progresses as we enter the next Grand Prix next time. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry that it's a voiceover instead of live commentary. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe, stay healthy, subscribe while you're here, and turn the notification bell on, and I'll see you in the next Grand Prix.